a more in-depth discussion of the human aura, also known as the biofield, please see my other lecture available on Patreon, which goes into the historical understanding from the first writings of the human multidimensional being through to modern, and how our understanding has shifted and grown over the years, as well as some of the scientific investigations that have been done, showing the existence of an energy template which guides cellular growth and development, and much, much more. So please find that on Patreon. So welcome, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the human aura, which goes by many, many names. Barbara Brennan calls it the human energy field. A lot of people call it subtle energy body or the subtle bodies. It got called the morphogenic field in biology when they were, which we're going to talk about later on, when they really started going, well, hang on, doesn't make sense how, living forms come to be from, cellular point of view, unless there is some sort of guiding field. A life field or L field, the health aura, orgone field was Wilhelm Reich's name for it. Biological field is what a lot of the scientists started to call it. And then in very early 1990s, a group came together and decided on the title, the biofield. The concept of an invisible energy that maintains life was common in ancient cultures. However, Western science discarded all notions of a vital force by the mid-1800s. And then during the 20th century, it actually became evident that not all aspects of life could be satisfactorily explained by a physicalist worldview. And it's actually the science that reignited people's belief in some sort of energy realm. The science started saying, we can't really explain all of biology, and we can't really explain all of life experiences with a physicalist worldview. And so the re-emergence of a field view of life started to happen in the scientific literature in the early 1900s. So let's go on a little historical journey in the Vedic scriptures. While there is references to subtle aspects of the human, it's only in that Vedic, which is related to the yogic literature, that I found a clear reference to a human being having multiple bodies in this subtle realm. So to give you a little idea about the evolution of the Theosophical Society's model of what they called the constitution of man, you can see the model I've just shown you from Helena Blavatsky, and then that transitioned over time. So just to keep this evolution of our understanding of the human going, there was a lady called Alice Bailey. So she was writing in the early 1900s, and she was writing a lot about spiritual concepts that formed part of the New Age movement that very much started, had its infancy in the early 1900s and really got underway in the 1950s as a movement. The Age of Aquarius is a New Age term that Alice Bailey actually was the first one to write about, is that we have this physical personality self that only exists in this life. We then have an aspect of ourselves which could be called mind, it could be called soul, it could actually be our energy field. Experiences many lifetimes and changes. And we're having a separate experience from other souls. So at this level of existence, we're separate from each other, but connected. Then there is our spirit, and spirit is where we're no longer separate. Spirit is eternal, it's unchanging, and it's where we're all connected. So let's have a look at the science. I tell you, the more I delve into science, the more I believe we're all connected and in this energy realm, not less. Because when you really start looking at what science does and doesn't say right now, there is a lot of evidence that there is some energetic aspect to human functioning or life in general. We very much have this field-like phenomena going on, and the biofield explains that. All these energy medicine effects. So when somebody, in mainstream medicine and science, they think to get a big output or a big change in a person's physiological functioning, you need to have a big input. But energy medicine shows the exact opposite. The biofield concept explains a lot of things that can't be explained in a physical-only model. So it is actually a very sensible, rational concept to introduce as a possibility. One of the people I've read a lot of her scientific papers of is Beverly Rubik, proposes that consciousness may govern the biofield, such that thought and intention may cause changes in the biofield, which subsequently causes shift in our physiology and biochemistry. So the physicalist model would have us believe that our physical body is all there is. But actually, we're way more than that. And through our energy field, these non-physical components, subtle energies, we actually connect with our world, with each other in deep and meaningful ways.